welcome to dressyourfacelive.com. I know a lot of you out there just signed up during our huge Thanksgiving sale. We've actually never done a Thanksgiving sale before like this, so it was our first time doing it, and I'm so overwhelmed with the response that we got. I'm so happy that you guys, were smart about it and decided to finally join us. This weekend has been amazing. I got to meet so many of you online. I've been, of course, tracking down through the hashtags, so in case you didn't see my posts and my Snapchat, I have asked everyone to hashtag DressYourFaceLive, DYFL, and DYFL Army. Those are our 3 official hashtags, and what I do is periodically I'll go through those hashtags just to make sure that you guys are doing well and you're understanding everything, and I can get your guys' feedback and things like that. I love to be very, very much interactive with my students, and I feel like instead of a hit and run kind of a deal where I teach a class and you leave or whatever, this way, having a membership and doing my online classes every week really forms a family and a very special bond between me and my students. And that's how I am with all of my students. If you guys have taken any of my classes in the past, you already know the love I have for you and the dedication I have for you. So to the newbies out there, we all over here at the DYFL family, we all welcome you to the team. This is a huge deal, and I know that some of you are like, oh, it's just makeup. But it really is a way of life. It really is a positive way of thinking and feeling and creating a mood for yourself. So certain makeup looks that I'm going to be teaching, throughout the forever time that we have together will be more natural. Some of them will be more dramatic. Some of them will be very, very glam, and some will be very office appropriate. There's going to be so many different types of looks that you can practice, but the best thing that I love is that connection that I get with you guys, and the fact that a lot of my longtime students are really catching on to the types of techniques that I'm using, whether it's a dramatic or a natural. The techniques are very similar in both, and the way I handle my brushes and the products that I like and things like that, these are all things that I very, very openly share with all of my members. And this is stuff that, even on Instagram, I'm very open with my life. I'm very open with the products I use and things like that. But there's only so many characters you can put, right, in a description. You end up running out. So this way, I'm really able to dig in to every little detail and give you guys my 1000%, where on Instagram, I'm limited to 100%. So you guys definitely get that exclusive content here and only here. You cannot find this anywhere else. I take a lot of pride in what I teach and what I show you guys, and I take a lot of pride in your work too. So again, always hashtag DressYourFaceLive, DYFL, and DYF Army, so me and my team can go through and make sure you guys are doing okay. Also, if you guys have any questions ever throughout the time of your membership, and even if you decide to ever stop being a member, which I don't know why anyone would stop, to be honest, but I understand people are busy, whatever, but that's why we also extended our viewing time to a whole month per class, which is awesome. That means even if you're super busy and you can't watch the live stream, or you have to stop in the middle of it, you don't just have a couple days to catch up, you have an entire month to catch up. It's insane how much time you guys get. But anyway, like I was saying, you know what? Let's stop there. I don't want to bore you. I know you guys are here to learn, and I'm here to teach, so why don't we just go ahead and get started. You guys loved the Miami makeup look that I did on myself for my Miami tour. And I loved it too, of course. I did it on myself, and I was very happy with it. And it turned out to be very photogenic, and I love that. And I wanted to show you guys that because as soon as I posted that look, you guys remember, right? Obviously, I've been like posting it all day today. That look for Miami, this one here, got a lot of love on Instagram. And although it is a very dramatic look, I feel like you guys can totally tone it down if you want to, or you can just go more crazy by adding glitter and fun stuff like that. And a huge percentage of you literally commented like crazy asking, please can we do this in a DYFL class? So here it is, and that's the cool thing about it for those of you who are new. I love getting requests from you guys, so if you guys have any requests on class topics, feel free to let me know on comments and stuff. and I'm happy to add it into the schedule. And, you know, I'm here for you forever. Like, there's no end to this. And the best part is that it is a continuous learning process. So, you know, whether you start now or you started a year ago when we started, or if you know, decide to take any breaks and continue later, there is always going to be amazing content for you. And that's what I love about the continuous learning. There's no beginning and there's no end. It is constant, really hardcore learning, and you can learn it on a beginner's level or an advanced level. And I like to explain things in way too much detail. And I go really simple with my, you know, vocabulary, so you guys can totally understand even if you're not professional. So for those of you who are just learning for yourself, this class, I am my own model. So I'm going to be teaching it in a way that you could do it yourself easily. And for those of you who are pros, you can totally do this on others as well using the same exact techniques. So first things first, originally this was supposed to be an eye makeup class. I ended up wanting it to be a full face makeup class. I want to show you guys how I've been contouring myself lately. I'm really in love with this new way that I've been doing it, and so I wanted to show you. So right now what I have on is foundation and a little bit of powder all over, and I pretty much have nothing on my eyes except for just the foundation that I'm using. So I'm going to tell you what foundation that is and all the stuff that I use on myself. I am currently so in love with the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer. This foundation is super thick and super crazy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it is cakey as hell. But there's different ways to use this. And for me, I love cake. My girls know that I love cake on cake on cake. I have had memes written of me because of me loving cake. So the Kevyn Aucoin foundation, knowing that it's super full coverage and very thick and very hard to blend, I actually just use it straight on. I do not dilute it with anything. I just put on a little bit of moisturizer and I grab, you know, whatever foundation brush. Honestly, lately for myself, I've been using the Morphe G9 brush, and I just push it in. So I dip into this product and I literally stipple it into my skin so that it looks very, very flawless and super full coverage. I want that Barbie, like, mannequin looking face, and that's what I achieve with this. For those of you who have, no, I have super dry skin and it works for me because I use it over moisturizer, but for those of you who are saying, and I've gotten this comment a lot, that the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer foundation is too thick, you can't blend it, then try diluting it with a little bit of makeup primer or a lotion moisturizer, and it will thin it out just a little bit, enough for you to get it to move around your face and dilute enough for blending purposes. So try it that way and see how you like it. In fact, when you don't dilute it though, it actually works as a concealer as well. So I don't use any concealer on myself anymore. Yay. I just have this all over and it works out really well. As far as the powders, I'm using the Studio Fix powders from MAC. It's NC42. I just threw that on all over, and then under my eyes, I just put a little bit of the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation in 2N1 Desert Beige 08. 2N1 Desert Beige 08. And this is a really, really light color powder, so I only really use it under my eyes. But everywhere else, I throw on the MAC NC42 Studio Fix foundation powder. And that's pretty much it. You'll get to see a lot of steps today. One thing I'm not going to do today is lashes, only because I have lash extensions on, but I do want to talk to you about the lashes, so I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit about lashes later on. So for those of you who are going to follow along with me, go ahead and follow along step by step. Throw on your foundation. You don't have to do your powder right now because we're going to do powder anyway again after that, but I want to show you how I contour. For those of you who are brand new to this, what I usually recommend is the first time you see a class of mine, just use this time to write down a bunch of notes. Get your list together, write down a bunch of notes. I'm going to give you a bunch of coupon codes and discounts and stuff, so you guys can write those down and not forget. And then you can, when we upload this class on the members pages, you can watch it over and over again as many times as you want. And that's when you can actually practice. Once you're comfortable with understanding what we're doing, then you watch it, follow along, practice, make sure you're doing it well. And as many times as it takes you to get it right, go ahead and do it. This is the funnest part. Makeup homework is fun. The makeup homework. That's your makeup homework. Just watch it a few times. So first things first, I already have my foundation and a little bit of powder just because I didn't want to be like super shiny on camera. So I did mattify a little bit. What I'm going to do first now is start with the contouring process. This is what I do on myself now. I don't really do any highlight anymore except for with powders, but for the contouring, I do use an actual contour shade That contour product that I'm using is the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Beautiful Bronze. This is like one of those universal shades. It kind of goes with a lot of people. And I just squeeze a little bit out on the back of my hand with this brush, and I just kind of mix it to get it really creamy on the back of my hand here. Do you see that? And I'm going to start off by going in an angle from the top of my ear towards the corner of my mouth. And I'm going to go a little bit above the corner of my mouth, to be honest. I don't want to go all the way down because it's going to drag your face down. You don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to kind of curve it back up into this area, maybe 1 or 2 finger widths above the corner of your mouth. So it just kind of disappears as it goes this way. I'm going to do the same on the other side. It just kind of disappears. And another cool thing that I do is I go a little thicker and heavier on the outer portion so that it looks thinner and it disappears towards the center of the face. Next thing that I do is I like to contour the sides of my forehead, so the temple zones basically, just to create a nice 3-dimensional effect on my face so my forehead doesn't look flat, it looks more rounded. And now I'm going to do my T-zone, which is my favorite part. I'm so obsessed with like super tiny noses, but of course it's up to you how small you want to make yours. I like to, let's see here. I like to go from the curve of my eyelid right there. I'm going to curve a couple lines in, and I'm going to get it to stop like, I just kind of match it up right there on the bridge of my nose. And now I'm going to make parallel lines going straight down. So 1 line there, 1 line here. This is going straight down, and I'm making an L shape. Just like that. So it's like 2 L's. Now I'm going to connect the top of my nostril across the tip of my nose from nostril to nostril. This cuts that bottom hanging tip that I have. It cuts that. So it's going to camouflage it when I'm done. And I like to go right in here. And lately, ever since I've enhanced my lips, I like to kind of contour a little bit around the upper lip here, just to make it look a little fuller on the top. The bottom, my bottom lip is already like pretty full, so I like to balance the top out a little bit by contouring above. Can you guys tell? I kind of look like a deer again, just like Halloween. But anyway, this is how it is. And then I just do a little bit on the bottom part of my lower lip. And then lastly, I am just cutting through my jawline. Notice how I'm just going right over my actual jawline. You can see that my jawline's way down here, but I'm going a little bit above just to trim my face and make it look a little bit more heart-shaped down here. And that's pretty much all I'm doing at this point for the contouring. So again, I go from the top of the ear going towards my mouth, but I'm not going below the corner of my mouth. I'm just cutting it right above here, right above. And I do the sides of my forehead, and I curve down to the bridge of my nose. I'm gonna have you guys see a side-to-side comparison of what I look like right now. Another thing that I wanted you guys to know, I know a lot of you guys are new. I mean, we literally have like thousands of you who are new right now. So this is your first class that you're watching live. What I would love to see is your recreations of what I'm doing, as well as in case you are taking screenshots on your phone or whatever, or taking pictures of your computer or TV, however you have this hooked up. You can totally post that and hashtag Dress Your Face Live, DYFL, DYFL Army, all those 3 hashtags. And let me know what your favorite part about this class was. I love to know what you like so I can do more of that and give you more of what you really want. So definitely, you know, write your reviews, let me know what you think, and it is me that goes through and likes your posts. So I do a lot of that late night stalking where I go on liking rampages. So for those of you who do want to post the screenshots of today's class and your own recreations and things like that, definitely use those hashtags. Let me know what your favorite part about class was, what was hard for you, what was easier for you, what you want more practice in. And I would love to show you my love back by liking your posts and, you know, really showing my appreciation. So definitely do that. And if you guys don't know what to screenshot, this is a good screenshot right here. You know, so you can remember where I contour. And keep in mind, I'm not highlighting today. I'm pretty much just contouring with the cream, and then I'm just highlighting with the powders. So now that that part is done, I'm going to go in with another really favorite brush of mine lately to blend out everything. This is my Morphe G30 brush. This is from their Gunmetal collection. And I'm going to start just softly blending down and up here. So I'm going down from the top, and then I'm going a little bit up from the bottom because I don't want it to go all the way down to my mouth. And notice that I'm just kind of patting it in, pushing the product in. And if there is anything that just looks really weird, I use my finger to further blend so it just looks a little bit better. But now you can see the line is still there, but it's not really obvious as a line. It's more of a shadow, and that's the effect that we're trying to do right now. So using a flat brush like this helps. Another brush that I really love to use is the MAC 130 brush. That one is like a small little flat, round, but flat on top. And that one works really well for all the areas of the face, for highlight and contour. This brush I like for only contour, not highlight. And I'm just going to use my fingers to smooth it, make sure everything's looking good here. Alrighty, so now I'm just going to smooth all of this here. And I'm actually really spreading this bottom edge because I don't want to take a picture on the side and people see a crazy brown line there. That's not the intention. I don't want it to look like I overly contoured on my jawline. I just want it to look like a shadow. So there you go, a shadow. Same on the other side. And that's another thing why I like brushes like this. A lot of companies carry this, by the way. So if you're not able to find it, try different places. But this is a Morphe brush, and it's very like stiff and firm. So for me, it just really works to get rid of all that brown. Now I'm gonna smooth out my side contour here. And I know some of you might be a little confused as to, well, why the heck did you put powder on if you're going to put cream over it and then put more powder on? Again, it was because I didn't want to be super shiny on camera. This is my first time meeting a lot of you guys. I want to, you know, bring a good impression to y'all. So I just did it for a little bit of mattifying, but I didn't put much powder on at all. It's mainly foundation that I came up here on and very little powder just to remove some shiny zones. But the rest of the powder I'm going to do now on camera. So I'm just smoothing that out so you could just see a little bit of this bronzing effect on the side of my face, nothing too crazy. And now I'm going to smooth out the lower lip. I'm going to use my finger to smooth out the upper lip, just softening that a little bit. I love to use my fingers for stuff and then go back with the brush to just kind of push it back in. And now for the nose, I'm going to use a smaller brush because this is like huge. And the other brush that I like to use here is the Morphe 428 brush, and I'm just going to smooth it out. By the way, you guys, I'm working on a discount code for you guys for Morphe brushes. So if there are any Morphe brushes from this video that you guys end up liking, please write them down and then wait for my post, which will happen pretty soon on Instagram, so that I can let you guys know what that discount code is, because I really want to make sure that my students are getting the best deal possible. So they're working on that code right now for me, but it's just not ready right now. So give me a little bit and just get your list ready, and then look out for my Instagram post so you guys can find out what the code is. So again, I'm just using this brush. And another thing here, this Veramona armband, Works really well to wipe off product, so you can go back in with a cleaner brush and blend without having like a big blob of brown. Veramona.com, V-E-R-A Mona.com. They have amazing products to switch out colors with and to wipe off your brushes with for immediate cleaning. This is the Pro Band, which I wear pretty much all the time when I'm working, especially when I'm touring and I just don't want to make a mess on stage. I just use my armband and it's so much easier. And they are a sponsor of all my tours too. So most of my tour stops from this year got to try at least something from Veramona. And I do have a discount code with them already. So if you do like what you see here, you can go to veramona.com and then at checkout enter DYF15. It's just DYF15, so you can get a nice discount on your Veramona products. And I'm just gonna smooth all that out there. So now that my nose is pretty much blended, I just want to use my fingers for some of the areas that didn't blend out all the way. There we go. And I have the rest of my face pretty much blended as well. Now I'm going to give you that side to side comparison here, where you can now see what the contour should pretty much look like at this point before we actually set it. So this is what it looks like. Ta-da! Okay, so make sure you have your screenshots and remember how everything should look like at this point. Now we're going to start setting everything with powders. So first, what I like to do is set my highlight zones, and I'm going to be using the Anastasia contour kit here. You can see my banana color is pretty much gone. That's what I use to highlight a lot of the times, to set my highlight over my powders and stuff. You could totally use a powder too. If I were to use a Studio Fix powder, I would use like NC25 for example. But today I'm going to be using a mixture of banana and golden peach just to warm it up a bit. And I'm just going to use this with my Samey brush number 2.1, Samey number 2.1, mixing banana and golden peach and just using it to set my highlight zones, which would be the zones under your eyes, just like this that you see me doing. It would also be the center of the forehead right in here. So brow to brow and down the center. And it would also be in the chin area, above the lip area. And you can just stamp it on as many layers as you want until you're happy with the overall look and coverage of it. And I also love to add a little extra on my laugh lines, which are right here, just to keep them looking fuller, fluffier. That way they don't look as deep and I can look as young as possible. So now that that's done, I'm going to switch over to a smaller brush. I'm probably just going to go right back to that Morphe brush that I used earlier. Where is it? Oh, there it is. The Morphe 428 brush. And I'm going to dip into the banana and a little bit of that golden peach as well. And I'm just going to set, let me go this way for you guys so you can see. I'm going to set the center, the bridge of my nose. Right down there. And I also like to set the sides of my nostrils here with that same thing. A little bit on the sides there. And another thing that you can do is to set a little bit right on the corners of the mouth, that lower corner of your mouth, to brighten and lift your smile a little bit. Now I'm going to switch over to my Morphe 438 brush. This is the Morphe 438 with Havana, which is a darker contour shade. And I'm just going to set my contour line with this a little bit. And now, can you see what I'm doing here? I'm rubbing back and forth between that contour and the highlight so that there's a really nice transition in between the contour and the highlight shades. So first I make my line, and now I roll up and down to create a very, very smooth transition in between the dark and the light. And it kind of gives me more of that bronzier look. And again, you're in charge of how much you want to contour. I overly contour. I love the crap out of contour, so I just go above and beyond. But you know, it's up to you. If you don't want too much contour, you can actually completely skip the cream contouring process and just go in with powder so it looks sheer. And see over here what I'm doing? I'm rubbing in between the lights and the darks so that it fades into the next zone. So right now I'm adding the Havana, which is the darker bronze color, on the side where I'm contoured, and then I'm rolling it into the lighter areas and just kind of flicking the two together so it just looks like a perfectly balanced transition in between the two. And again, I'm just kind of building. I like to go nuts, so why not? Okay, and now just so that the bottom of my jawline doesn't look super crazy, whatever's left on my brush, I'm just kind of flicking back and forth a little bit just to create a little bit of a shadowy effect here so I don't look too heavy down there on the jawline. And then anything else I need to do to like blend, I just use my actual powder color, whatever powder color that would be. So my actual powder color is the NC42 from MAC. And if I want to just kind of further blend in between my highlight and contour, I could just add a little bit of that MAC color in between my zones, in between my highlight and contour zones, just so everything literally just looks as flawlessly blended as possible. And then people aren't like, oh, wow, you have like a whole brown patch and a whole white patch right there. Like, it just looks so much smoother. I also like to set my nose contour with my actual powder color rather than the contour color alone, because I just don't want it to be so brown in pictures. I really want it to be, you know, as soft as possible. So I just set that with my regular color, but just in certain areas of my nose, I'm going to go in with, you know, any eyeshadow brush, really, any flat little eyeshadow brush. I'm going to go in to just refine certain areas of my nose. So right now what I'm doing is I have my dual finish powder from Lancome. This color is called Matte Cafe, but you could use any contour powder too. It's just that I've been using this for so many years and I just love it for my nose. It's a weird psychological thing. And I'm also using a Lancome free gift brush. It just looks like this. It's very, I'm sure every company makes a brush like this. It's just a basic eyeshadow brush. But I just use it on myself because I'm so used to it. And I'm just shading a little bit of the shade on that L shape of my nose. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. I always blow it when I'm doing it on myself. When you're doing it on other people, don't blow your brush, just shake it. So do that L and connect. Alrighty, I'm going to do it right in here. Go around the top of my mouth a little bit just to darken that edge. And right down there. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the actual contouring and stuff like that. So now that I'm done with balancing the face structure and doing all this contour, I'm going to start working on my highlighting with a shimmer product. So you guys already know what my favorite shimmer product is. That would be, my current favorite is the Give Me Glow from Saleha Beauty. This is what it is, and look how beautiful. It's called Hollywood Gold. And I've already used it like a gazillion times, but it still has that beautiful lacy print on it. When you get it brand new, it's just this beautiful lace stamp, and it's, oh my God, so stunning. You almost don't want to use it, but then now that you know how it looks like when it's used, it's still actually very pretty. I'm a sucker for packaging, and I'm a sucker for full coverage. And this product has that fuller coverage that I'm looking for. And what I'm going to use is my Makeup Forever 108 brush to dip right into this. You can find this powder, by the way, this powder shimmer from salehabeauty.com. It's SALEHA beauty.com, and use my code DYF15 and you will get 15% off of your entire order. It is seriously like to die for. So I'm just now pressing this product in with this brush so you can see a really amazing highlighted glow right along the top of my cheekbones, and I'm going in a line connecting all the way down towards my nostril, so that front pictures will also show that glow as well as the side pictures. And what I'm doing is I'm using my middle finger to just rub the edges a little bit, so you can't really tell where it really starts and ends. It just kind of looks like I'm glowing from within. So remember, when you're applying it, push it in, slide it if you need to, and use your fingertips to really smooth the edges so that it doesn't have a harsh ending. And I like to use my finger in this as well to give my nose that sharp glow right there. And I go to the side here, and I go to the side there. So now I have this overall glow on my T-zone. Of course, it's up to you like how crazy you want your glow. I like a lot. But at the same time, I don't want it to just sit on top of my face. I really want it to like be one with my foundation. So I'm really pushing it in and using my fingertips to smooth it out so people aren't like just seeing a line of a glow here. And then whatever's left on my brush, I like to put it right above my eyebrows. And again, I smooth that out a little bit with my fingertips as well. And then a little bit on the chin, smooth that out. A little bit on your Cupid's bow, smooth that out. And now we have this awesome glow kind of all over the face. Now, one of the things that I also do, this is just a little secret tip I don't usually talk about, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm doing my makeup today, so I'm going to do it the way that I always do it. I take a small brush. I have this one from Motives that I really like. It's their foundation brush. Mine doesn't even have any labels on it. I've used it so much, but it's just a cute little size, right? So this is the Motives foundation brush, and I just kind of dip into my Estee Lauder powder. Remember the one I was talking to you guys about that I use under my eyes? I'm going to go into that, and I just kind of put on one more final layer right on the eye part right there, on the under eye bag. And what that's doing now is it's re-brightening my under eye, and it blurs the shine of the highlight so that everything kind of just comes together. In any areas that you really just don't want it super shiny, you can use your highlight powder, whatever that may be, the matte powder, to just remove shine in certain areas in case you got too much shine in those areas. So along my laugh line here and under my eyes, but everywhere else, see, it's still shiny everywhere else. But just in those areas, I didn't want it to be super shiny for pictures. So now all the highlighting contour is officially done. And now I can focus on a a little bit of cheek color, and we can get started on the eyes. So for the cheeks, I'm just going in with my little baby Lancome blush brush. This is from one of the holiday sets from many, many years ago. But any blush brush would do. I'm really not picky with blush brushes. And I'm going with MAC. This is also one of those limited edition powder blushes. This is called Sweet Sentiment. Sweet Sentiment from MAC. It's one of my favorites, kind of my everyday blush. And I'm just going to apply it very lightly, like a feather stroke, right in between my highlight and contour, right in there. I don't want too much because this is a very vampy kind of a look that I'm doing. Well, not exactly vampy, but it's a dramatic look, so I don't want to go so crazy with the blush. I want more of that contour to show. So that's it with that. And now I am officially finished with my face. Now all I have to do is eyebrows, eyes, and lips, and we are done. And let me be honest with you, I spend a lot of time on face, and my students know this, but I'm going to just say it again. I spend a lot of time on face. If the face isn't perfect, nothing else that you're doing on your eyes, lips, anything is going to look right. It's not going to look balanced. So the whole point is to balance your structure, create whatever structure you're desiring, and then go into the eyes and lips and whatever for those fine tuning. And believe me, the eyes go so fast. It'll be done within a few steps. It's really, really quick. And then, but I'm gonna go really slow for you guys though, just because I want to make sure you're learning. So I'm gonna go really slow, but normally when I do my makeup, I spend very little time on eyes and the majority of the time on my face, because that has to stay like perfect. So for the eyes, first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Highbrow, which is one of my favorite eyebrow highlight pencils from Benefit. This is what it looks like. And I'm literally just going to be drawing on under my brow. This is pretty much all you really need to do, but I'm also going to be applying it all over my eyelid as an eyeshadow base. So I drew that on, and now I'm going to go back into my Morphe brush. The same one that I've been using for all that blending and stuff on my nose. Wow, if I can find it, that would be awesome. Actually, there's a lot of brushes I could use, but I really just want to use that one. There it is. So Morphe 428, and I'm going to go in and just smooth out this pencil here. So it's going to act as my eyeshadow base today, nice and bright. You could actually just use this by itself and call it a day. But just warning you, it's not going to last all day if you don't set it with some sort of powder eyeshadow over it or face powder over it. So I just kind of go the full 9 yards and just do the whole thing anyway. But in case you just don't have time and you want a bright-eyed look, you can just use this by itself. Okay, so now that my eyes are prepped, you can see that it's prepped. I'm going to go and start off with my underbrow highlight, and then I'm going to get my brows out of the way. So for the underbrow highlight, I'm going to whip out, let me just whip out a few brushes so you guys can get a list here, some of the brushes that I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to use the MAC, I believe it's a 239. My thing totally rubbed off, but this is what it looks like. It's just a flat eyeshadow brush. So I'm going to use this for a lot of different steps. I'm also going to be using my Sigma winged liner brush for a lot of things. The wings and the whole eyeliner and everything. I'm going to use my Morphe 515 brush for smoothing right down here and setting my eyeliner with dark eyeshadow. I'm also going to be using my Morphe 441 brush for my crease and blending. What else am I going to use? I'm going to use my Morphe 506 brush for detail crease art. Just right in there. Wow, I love how I still had eyeshadow on there, and I just put it on myself. And what else? There's so many brushes to choose from. This is another brush I really like. It's a MAC 209 brush. I may or may not use that for my wings. And then I have this Sigma pencil brush, the E30 pencil brush that I'm probably going to use for smoking down here. This is another brush that I really love, the 212 brush from MAC. It's a flat brush that I like to kind of create a little smoky edging. And I mean, if you like a little bit more refined blending, I also have the MAC 217 for that refined blending in here. So let's see what we end up using there. But first of all, we are going to use this flat eyeshadow brush to set our underbrow highlight there. And the palettes that I'm going to be using today are the Tamana palette, of course, which I'm so sorry it's gone. It was here last year as a limited edition from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and again, it's limited edition. It's never gonna come back. I'm so sorry, but maybe one day I'll make something special for you guys myself. But until that day comes, Anastasia still does sell the singles of these colors on some of the colors, not all of them, so you might get lucky there. And the other palette that I'm going to use is the Carly Bible palette from BH Cosmetics. I really like this palette. It has great matte shades in there as well as shimmer, and you know me, I love my mattes and I love my shimmers, and I like them to be very separate and very different, so that's what I'm going to be using. So the lightest color of the mattes here, this one here, or you could use Fresh from the Tamana palette, which I ran out of, so I'm going to use the Carly one. And I'm just going to press it right into my brow bone highlight area, as so. Same right in there. Pressing it right in. I want it to be super bold, super strong, very clean, all that good stuff. So that's on, and I'm not really worried about blending it. That's one thing you're going to really learn from these classes if you're new, is I don't really blend. I do more pushing and moving and layering, but I'm not like a blender. I don't just sit there and blend and blend. Like, I feel like that's such a waste of time. So blending is going to be kind of a little bit out of our vocabulary during your courses with me. So now I'm going to use the same color, and I'm just going to pat it all over my eyelid, just filling up this entire space, but don't pat it on your crease area. Focus on that brow bone and the eyelid separately. Leave a little gap in between, because we're gonna need that stickiness to get our dark color to stick on really nicely. And we're just gonna bring that right in on the other eye too. Again, see how I'm not really blending, I'm just kind of sticking it on and sliding it across. Okay, so now you see I'm super bright and crazy. At this point, I'm going to take a little break from here. I really want to get my eyebrows finished, so I'm going to do my eyebrows now. And I will be using the Anastasia Brunette Eyebrow Pencil. This is the Brow Wiz. And what I love about the Brow Wiz is that it has a brush on the other end, so you can actually blend as you're going. So this is the Brunette Brow Wiz. I'm just going to go right in and fill in my eyebrows the way I like it, which is I like to go a little thicker, and I like to go really strong on the base here, the base line and the tail. And then I go a little bit lighter on the top. So right now I'm just going to do both the baselines first. I'm going pretty hard with it. I like it dark on that area. But of course, eyebrows is such a personal thing, to be honest. Like, everyone has their preferences. And I've noticed when I'm working on my clients, eyebrows can make or break an appointment for sure. So I usually ask my clients before I get started on the eyebrows how dramatic they want me to make them. A lot of my clients want me to keep it as natural as possible, which is totally fine by me. I want everyone to be happy. So I throw out my preferences and I do what the client wants when it comes to eyebrows. And maybe I'll add a little dash of my own style in there too. But normally my clients like to go a little glam. That's why they come to me. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm doing little strokes to thicken up the top part of my brow. So little strokes going in, filling in this top zone of my brow, and I'm going very, very lightly on the beginning part of my brow to square it off. So now I'm going to use the spoolie at the other end, this brush, and I'm going to blend out this beginning part and smooth it right over. And now this brow is pretty much done. I'm just going to even out the blend there. I think we're good there, and I'm going to try my best to match it to this brow here. Of course, no two brows are ever going to be exactly alike unless you get them stenciled and tattooed. But I don't believe that the two brows need to be exactly the same as long as they're balanced, as close as you can get them. But when you're looking at your face, if you look at one side of your face and then you look at the other side of your face, the two sides look different. Like, we're not perfectly symmetrical as human beings. We're not perfectly symmetrical. So our eyebrows, I kind of focus it more on, is it balancing my side of the face? And also your eyes aren't exactly the same. I don't think I've ever met anybody that has two of the exact eye, like the same exact eye shape and stuff like that. So sometimes if someone's eye shape differs, their eyebrows kind of have to differ just a little bit to balance both those eye shapes together so it doesn't look lopsided, or you know, if someone's eyes are too close together, you may want to make your eyebrows a little bit more far apart for that extension. And if someone's eyes are far apart, you want to start your eyebrows a little closer together to bring everything together. So, you know, it's not ever going to be exactly matching and things like that. If one eye is closer than the other, your eyebrows are going to have to balance them. So don't beat yourself up over it if it's not an exact perfect match. It's never going to be. I have one eyebrow that's rounder here and one is more square here. So I'm just trying to square this one out as much as possible and then round that one up just to give a little bit of a balanced effect if I can. But if I can't do it, it's not really a big deal to me because overall you want to just look balanced. So now that I'm done with my brows, I can go back to my eyes. First thing that I like to do when it comes to the crease, and especially when I'm doing it on myself, okay, because here, let me get a little closer. Dang, I don't think you can tell actually, but on this eye, I have two folds here on my lid. It's very hooded. And then on this side, it's smoother. I only have like one fold. Can you see it? So I'm going to ignore all the folds, and I'm only going to go off of this shadowing, which is from my actual eyeball. Okay, so grab your clean blending brush, and I'm going to go into this lighter taupey color here, taupey mauve, from the Carly palette with BH Cosmetics, and I'm just going to start by giving myself a little bit of a shadow here. And what I'm doing is, you notice my chin is up, so my eyes are looking down as I'm looking in the mirror and doing this stroke. If I'm like this doing it, I'm going to totally miss. I need to stretch my eye a little without moving the skin. And even when I'm working on my clients, I don't stretch their skin and do this. I just hold on to them maybe a little bit, but I have them just looking down so I can see really where is the eye socket. So I'm just looking down so I can see my natural shadow, and I follow that natural shadow. Ignore the folds. Folds is not a shadow. Fold is your skin. I'm trying to go along my actual shadow here. And do you notice what I just did right there? I extended it because I'm going to do a little bit of this cat eye. So I want to kind of extend the shadow to come out more. All right, so now that we've created this, wow, my lashes are going nuts, you guys. Now that I've created this shadowy look to my crease, I'm going to darken it up with a smaller brush just on the edges. That's going to create a little bit of that cut crease action. Let me just fix my lash real quick because it's driving me nuts. By the way, I know a lot of you have so many questions about lash extensions. I've been doing them for a whole year now, like over a year, and I'm so addicted. But it's been a big gap between my last appointment and now because I'm trying to like schedule it out to be as close to my Dubai trip as possible, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. So I'm like, you know, at the end of my cycle, and it still looks like so amazing. Now that I'm losing a little bit of the older ones, the newer ones are staying here from the last session, and it's like a nice little spike there. I really like that spiky look. So anyway, now I'm gonna go in with this 506 brush from Morphe, and I'm gonna dip into this really dark shade here, which is like a dark maroon. If you're looking for MAC, it would be Sketch. Sketch would be a great color for that. And I'm just going to etch out a cut crease edge here, very lightly. And I'm just looking down so that I'm not going on my eyelid. I don't want this color to touch my eyelid. And see what I'm doing here? I'm extending it like that. So this part, yes, it does take a little bit of practice. I don't expect you guys to get it perfect the first time, especially if you're new to this. But believe me, the more you practice, the better you're gonna get, the better your hand is gonna get used to your motions, and things will get easier and easier for you as time passes, the more you do it. So again, I'm just using the very, very tip of my brush, that sharp tip right here, and I'm going along. Another huge tip I have for you is do not oversaturate your brush. If you dip your whole brush and swirl it into product, you're gonna get that product all over your eyes. So if I'm only using the tip of my brush to draw this line, I'm only dipping the tip of my brush into the product so that it doesn't go all over the place. And now the product can just literally be deposited onto the areas that I really need it rather than all over the place. And now what I'm doing is I'm just spreading it out by pressing the brush. I'm spreading it so that it just kind of overlaps a little bit with my previous contour color, that lighter contour color in my crease. I call that crease color a contour color too because you're contouring your crease. So essentially it's the same exact type of technique. So now let's see what's next. I just want to check the picture because I've done so many versions of this and I want to make sure I'm doing it like perfectly the way you want it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of black right in here. So I'm going to use, it's actually a mixture of a couple brushes. I'm going to use the 515 and the 506 from Morphe. I'm going to go into Noir, which is from my Tamana palette. Anastasia does still carry this color, Noir, the darkest black like in the world. And I'm just going to very carefully press it into the outer half of the cut crease area. So it's really dark there, and then I'm going to use this brush to just blend it into the previous tone. That makes that part look really dark and sharp. Again, using that little tiny brush to just add that definition on that outer corner of the eye and smoothing it with the slightly larger brush to overlap a little bit with the previous tone. And I love to use my fingers just to make sure. Ignore my broken nail, by the way. I know it's like super ghetto, but don't worry about it. And then now I'm just doing a balancing act here, making sure that both sides look equally as dark. Okay, so now we have this really cool kind of flippy, fanned out cut crease. Now to make the cut crease as sharp as possible, I'm going to go back into my, you know, I have this other brush I want to show you. This is my, this is from Prescriptives. They don't make this anymore. I don't even think Prescriptives is a company anymore. But it's just a flat concealer brush, nothing special. And I'm going to go back into this really light color that we used on our eyelid. And I'm going to clean up that lower edge of it using this sharp concealer brush. Okay? And I'm kind of going right over to create that sharper, cut on my cut crease right there. So if that means going back into your little brushes to refine it, you absolutely can. I do this back and forth thing all the time until I'm like really happy, because I'm so picky about every little thing. Everything shows in pictures, so you have to be a little picky. And I'm just going to use this brush again to clean up the edge of the cut crease. Going back in here, going to use that to just clean it up. Want to make sure if that means holding down your eyelid so you can get through here, then go ahead and do that. Do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're as accurate as possible with your placement. Another thing that I do, I know it's like really hard to tell when you're doing your own makeup. Like when you're doing someone else's makeup, yeah, you can just tell them to close their eyes and you can check both sides. But one thing that I like to do is I like to take a selfie with my eyes closed before I'm finished, just so I can kind of see what it looks like. So I'm just, you know, taking my phone, closing my eyes or looking down, taking a picture, and then I check to see if there's anything that's like a little lopsided. So over here, I feel like this is just a little bit lower than that side. So now I can go ahead and go in on this brush here and just make sure that my lid color is going up into the crease a little bit. And now I can go back with this little baby here to draw it just a little bit higher. And then I can take another picture. And now I can see that it's looking a little bit more clear and more even with both the sides. So I'm gonna get out of this one. And now I can move on to my eyeliner. So the first thing that I did with this look for the eyeliner is I went in with a light pencil to line my rim first. So I went in with the Anastasia Pro pencil, and I'm just gonna line my lower rim with this. Just to give it like a light, bright look. Make sure you're lining all the way into the inner corners of your eye. So it just should look very innocent and very open-eyed. Next, you want to add a little bit of a highlight actually on that inner corner of your eye, just so that it looks a little brighter for when you do that inner wing. So I'm gonna go back into this little brush here, that little concealer brush, and I'm gonna go in with this light highlight shade from the Carly palette right there, this lightest one. And I'm gonna press it into my tear duct so that we have this like light, bright look right in there. That's gonna help us when we do our inside wing to show really clearly. And I just wanna make sure that it's blending into that top section. So I just don't want it to look really off. So now I see that it's blending and looking good. I'm gonna do a little bit on the bottom here, a little bit on the bottom here, just so everything just looks immaculate. And now I'm ready for adding a little bit of that shadowy look to it. So I'm gonna go in with my flat liner brush, the 212 from MAC. I'm gonna go in with that dark, it's that dark maroon color from the Carly palette, this dark maroon, which is also equivalent to Sketch from MAC. And I'm gonna go right under here and I'm gonna start creating like a pretty intense smoke under my lower lash line. I'm gonna go pretty heavy with it, and I'm also gonna mix black in there, so I'm gonna go really dark, but if you guys don't wanna go as dark, that's totally okay. And you can see how I'm starting to extend this, which is one of the reasons why I really love this brush. I'm kind of extending that smoke out to create a little fake wing, so I'm not like totally off when I actually draw my real wing. And I'm also going to go in and clean up this bottom edge here of my cut crease, so that the wings align and they are completely parallel to each other going out. So again, I'm going to smoke this out a little bit and making sure that everything is just looking really, really sultry and as dark as possible. And I'm going to let this kind of create a little bit of that wing effect already, just so it's easier for me when I am ready to do my wing. It'll be easier for me to do it. Okay. I'm also going to go in with this pencil brush here with the same color, that same maroon color, but I'm going to go a little lower so that it creates a very, very faded smoky effect, really low on the lower lid of my eyes. Anytime you ever get a little bit of fallout or anything, go ahead and just remove it like right away. Don't wait for it to settle first. Always, always, always just flick it off right away. So in case you get any dust or whatever, just flick it right off. Next, I'm going to go in with the same flat brush here, the 212 from MAC, with Noir, that dark, dark black. And I'm going to start building that black color right underneath here. I want it super strong and smoky, so I'm going to go pretty heavy with this. But again, you guys are in charge of how crazy you want to go. So if you're not into all that, then you absolutely do not have to use black at all. You can stick with the lighter tones. Or you could do a cut crease without having to do a smoky bottom at all. So see how I'm really going thick and heavy with that black down here? It kind of gives me a doll eye look, which I really like. My whole life I've always like had small eyes, and you know, my mom has big Indian eyes, but my dad, he has smaller eyes. So I got his eyes, and then all of a sudden when I wear makeup, I suddenly look like I have my mom's eyes because they're big with makeup on. So that's one of the ways that I can get my eyes to look bigger, is to just create a really smoky effect on that bottom area to make my eyes look like it's going down a little bit, and it gives it just more space to work with, and it looks so much more sultry this way. So now that this part is done, I can now focus on the eyeliner. So I'm gonna go in and real quick, I'm just gonna grab a tissue. Can I grab a team member, please? Thank you, thank you. I need a paper towel. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean my brush to make sure that everything's like perfect, so I can show you how I do my eyeliner. Thank you. I'm just going to grab a paper towel here. And I'm going to use my brush cleaner. There are two brush cleaners that I usually use. It's going to be one or the other. You don't have to use both together. Oh, I feel like I have hair all over me. One would be the Cinema Secrets Professional Brush Cleaner Spray. And the other one is also a brush cleaner spray. That is from Miss Casanova. They've been sponsoring a lot of my classes lately because I asked them to, because I ended up using them out of nowhere one time and I loved it. So, you know, I just wanted my students to get hooked up, just like I do. So this brush is the Sigma Winged Liner Brush E06. And the product that I'm going to use is the Inglot Gel Liner number 77 here. And I'm going to use this, and I'm also going to use my What else? Yeah. Actually, this is all I'm going to use because I don't really need to use any others. But if I do need to use like a liquid, for example, there are so many different liquid liners that you can use. They're all super, super amazing. But I'll show you some of the tricks that I have. What I'm doing right now is I'm just sharpening this brush like a knife here, just to get a nice sharp edge. And this mirror is so far from me, so I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do this for you guys. So I'm going to line my whole eye, and I'm going to do my wings separately. So I'm going to do my wing first, very lightly. And I'm going to, and see how easy it is once you already have that shadow right there? That's like our stencil. And even when I do it on a client, I actually do it like this, where I extend it with eyeshadow first and then I do the wing while the eyes are open, so I have a full idea of the balance between the two sides. And now I'm gonna go in and close my eyes and do the rest of my eyeliner. And I'm going to connect it to the wing. But the way I'm going to connect it is that interesting part that I really want you guys to pay attention to. So I'm going to do that in super slow-mo, and I'm going to do that after I've already done like the rest of my eyeliner. So let me do the rest of my eyeliner first, and then I'll show you guys how I connect everything. And now I kind of, what I do is I go in between my lashes with my liquid liner too, or my gel liner, and I pick up any, like I can shoot them in whatever areas I want, like in different directions or whatever, but one of the things that this does is it picks up any loose particles of eyeshadow that are lingering on my eyelashes, so everything turns black again. So it makes everything pretty black. So now, this is the part that I really want you guys to pay attention. Make sure your brush is sharp. I'm going to go in and very thickly connect it into the wing. And I definitely do use my nail to give that real crazy flick here. But one of the things that I want to show you is in that picture, you saw that it wasn't like a straight line. It was kind of like dipped up. And that's what makes the eyes look a little bit more flowy when they're open. So what you want to do is you want to go up a little higher here. And very carefully attach it to the end of your wing on that outer corner. So I love to use my nail for this, but if you don't have a nail, you can actually just use a clean brush and just drag the color out to attach it to your wing. I know there's some crazy ideas here with that nail thing, but it totally works. If you guys do have sharp nails like mine, the pointy kind, or any like really tight sharp brush, you can use that to give yourself that, that motion. And I'm going a little higher here. And I'm going to connect that little raised part down into the rest of my eyeliner. This is so awkward right here, trying to do this in a way that you guys can see. So if that means I have to stretch my eyes, I'll do that. And I'm just going to dip right down. To connect. So now, when I look down, it has this little kind of a dip up, like a scoop up, and it wings out. And that just adds so much more interest on the eyes, And it actually, like when I'm looking straight ahead, it doesn't look like there's any dip. It just has a beautiful smooth motion to it. But when you look down, that's when you can see it, and it's really cool. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit of fresh product here back on my hand and attempt the same exact thing on the other side. So I'm doing the whole rest of my eyeliner first because I've already done the wing. Fill in any gaps. Cover up any fallout of shadow. And now for that dip thing. Scooting up there and then out into the wing. Bring it up and then dip it right down into the rest of your eyeliner, so it all just kind of has this cool dip up or scoop up and then wing out. I'm just gonna make sure that everything looks straight and nice. If you guys were here in the studio, you'd know the struggle I'm having right now trying to do this for you guys. Like, the mirror is like so far. So I'm just really hoping that everything's looking decent and you guys are learning. And use your nail if you need to get that really extended wing right out there, or use like a sharp brush. So now that I'm done with that part of the liner, I'm gonna go back in with a fresh little dot of it, and we're gonna do that inner corner wing, which is gonna be insane, but we can do it. We can totally do it. Okay. Making sure that this brush is as sharp as possible. I'm going in and I'm just making a little line in my tear duct here so that this part is dark. And I'm connecting it to the top. So we've now connected with the dark. We have the top and the bottom edge of our eyeliner. And now with this sharp, sharp brush, very carefully, we're not pressing hard on this brush. We're actually going really, really light as possible with our pressure. And you're just making a wing first, and then you're connecting it up and down so that it flows with the rest of your eyeliner. So you make your wing line, and then you connect it into the bottom and into the top, just like that. I just want to make sure everything looks perfect. Okay. See that? I'm going to grab a little bit more product. The thing with the Inglot gel liners is that it dries so fast. And I know you guys always tell me that. That's one of the things you like hate about it. But the reason why I still use it is because what I love about it outweighs what I hate about it. And so I just kind of deal with it. And what I love about it is that it's so dark and it's so waterproof. Like, my brides will be crying and the stuff will stay. So I just live with it. And that's why I have to keep re-wetting my brush in fresh product because it just dries so fast. So again, right here, we're gonna connect the top and bottom here. Top and bottom of the corner, your tear duct. I'm just finishing up that corner. So now we have that dark connecting. Now I'm gonna make my little line, and then I'm gonna connect my line into those dark connected areas. This is awkward. Okay, so making my wing line, and now I'm gonna make sure it connects with the top and it connects with the bottom. You know what I might have to do is actually use my palette mirror. This might be better for me. Can you guys see like this? Okay, so I just merely connected the top and the bottom, created this really sharp line in the center going down. As far as how down you want to go, that's completely up to you. I don't like to go too much because then it looks like my eyes are too close together. Because essentially what it does is it does draw your eyes closer together. So I just do a very small, minimal wing. Another thing you could do is if you're having a hard time is stretch your nose skin so that you have more area to work with when you're doing this little wing thing here, the inner wing. Okay, so now I have the two wings going in. Another thing that I like to do is with the same brush actually is I dip into the black eyeshadow from my kit, the Tamana palette, and I set it because with my eyes they're like super watery and I just don't want to risk it. I know it's waterproof and everything, but I don't want to risk it, so I'm gonna set my, here I'll use it like this, I'm gonna set my little corner with this black eyeshadow. That way it's even more intense and it's even more waterproof. And you can totally go back in with your concealer brush to clean up any areas that you had a hard time with. Just make sure that you're not using a very fluffy brush for the cleanup. It has to be a really, really tight brush like this. Like this is a super tight brush. So I just went in and just kind of cleaned up a little bit on the corners, but nothing crazy. Now that that whole thing is done, I can go back in and re-brighten up around my eyes, just whatever's left on my brush. I can just swish it off, make sure there's no fallout anywhere showing. And that's pretty much it for the eyes. As far as mascara, what I usually like to do, I have the Benefit They're Real mascara. I do the bottoms really heavily. I love doing the bottom lashes as heavy as possible just to match how heavy my tops are. And then for the tops, I like to use the tip of this mascara. The very tip of it has spikes on it, and that way I can actually get my lashes to spike out in whatever direction I want it to stay in. And I love to use the spike of my nail also to separate if I need to separate any areas that are just too thick. As far as using lashes, like false lashes, what I normally do is, you know, when I'm using it on my clients, is you want to cut the lashes to fit the width of their eye. So you want to just kind of set it on their eye just to get an idea of how much you need to cut off. And then I cut off the outer corner of the false lashes, the outer corner. Once that is fitting, you will brush on a little bit of a brush on glue on the band of the lash. Let it dry for about 30 seconds or so, and then pop them on. And that way they're sticky. So when you put them on when they're already sticky, they grab onto your eye a lot better, or your client's eye a lot better. So it's not sliding around and putting so much glue all over the place and getting messy. So the drier it is, the better, as long as it's not all the way dry, otherwise it just won't stick. So you want to make sure there's still some time to play. All right. So now that this matte cut crease eye is done, I can focus on my lips. And I'm sure you guys saw that lip video that I did for you guys on Instagram and on Snapchat. It is a little intense. I know you do not have to use 3 different lip colors to do this. What I was thinking was I was going to start off with one color when I was doing it. When I do my makeup, by the way, for big shows, I don't know what I want to do. It just depends on my mood that day when I get up. So I really don't have any plan. What I end up doing is I start with something, and then as it evolves, I kind of figure it out. So that's what happened with my lips. I started off with, let me show you, the Vino lip liner from MAC. So I just went in and lined my whole lip. And I was thinking I was only going to use like one liquid lipstick over it, but it ended up being really dark, so I tried to lighten it up with other things, so I'll show you. So I line my whole lip. I'm going in with the Anastasia Vamp liquid lipstick. I'm going to just go along the outer edges. And I'm going to let this kind of dry for a moment. While this dries, I'm going to make sure that the eyes are pretty even as I can get them to be. Okay, cool, yeah, they're pretty even. All right, so now that this is dried a little bit, I'm gonna go into Sepia, also from Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipsticks. And I'm gonna fill in that inner middle part of my lips, and that kind of lightens it up a little bit, but it also is a very, very ash tone, so it ends up kind of looking a little grayish. I'm just going to blend with a generic brush. Okay, so now over everything I throw on Girlactic lip paint, which is also a liquid lipstick in Posh. Now Posh is sold out right now. I've been using it a lot, and I'm pretty sure you guys sold it out. But it's going to be back in stock really soon, and it's going to be on the Girlactic website. Girlactic. Oh, I'm so sorry. The Veramona code, I think it could be DYF, just DYF instead of DYF15. I'm not sure. Check DYF and see if that's the code, because the Girlactic code is DYF15. And you can go to girlactic.com and get this as soon as it comes back in stock. And then if you don't really want to wait, there's like 2 other colors that I really love. Divine, and Demure. I have literally every color from Galactic and I wear them all. This is Posh. Posh is a little bit of a peachy undertone with a little mauve in there. And sometimes I use that over dark lipsticks just to brighten it up. There we go. And it just brightens it up to a really nice hue. And again, you don't have to mix like all three of these to create something similar to this. You could just use Vino and the Galactic liquid lipstick, since that's the top coat anyway, but it's just going to look a little bit different. So yeah, Galactic.com. It's G-I-R-L. So it's Girlactic, A-C-T-I-K. Girlactic.com. Code DYF15, and you can just go nuts on those liquid lipsticks. They're so beautiful. So the three colors that I really love is Posh, which is out of stock right now, Demure, and Divine. Posh, Demure, Divine. Those are the three colors that I constantly use day to day. They are my 3 everyday shades, and I just love them. So there we have it, the full look. I'll pose for you in case you guys want to get any type of screenshots or anything. And you know where everything goes. At this time, I'm going to answer just a few questions online for you guys. For those of you who are new, how this works is I have the next 15 minutes to answer any questions you may have. Most of my classes are roughly around 1.5 to 2 hours long. Right now it is 8:41, so I have 20 minutes left to answer your questions. So on my latest post on Instagram, which is this lovely behind the scenes picture here, I want you to go ahead and ask whatever questions you have in the comments, and whatever popular questions that I come across, I'm going to go ahead and answer them to the best of my ability over the next 20 minutes. So here we go. Okay, so Miss Rockabilly Ruby is asking, I have trouble working with a lot of gel liners and I have really watery eyes. What's a good liquid liner to use for a look like this? So the liquid liners that I love, there's one from Saleha Beauty that I really, really love, and then there's also one from Girlactic that I love. The Saleha Beauty one is called the Arabian Nights eyeliner. It's a very fine tipped eyeliner, and I use that for my inner wing and my outer wing all the time. You guys have seen it on my Snapchat. I snap the heck out of it because that's the one I use on all my clients. It's truly, truly a life-saving eyeliner pen because it's so sharp. So it's SalehaBeauty.com, Arabian Nights liquid felt tip liner pen. And you can, again, use my code DYF15. Use my code so you can save a bunch of money on any of the things that you end up liking on SalehaBeauty.com. I also love all their lipsticks. I also love their highlight, which I'm using right now. Their gorgeous, gorgeous Give Me Glow Hollywood Gold highlight. And I just kind of give it a little shine right over here, down my T-zone. And it gives a beautiful effect like that too. So go nuts, enjoy yourself. Let's see here. Oh, and the other one that I really like is the Girlactic one, and it's just it's a longer, thicker felt tip liner, so that I use for the whole top line. I use it to clean my eyelashes as well, to pick up any particles of dust eyeshadow that have fallen on it. Dollface by Monica is asking, what eyeliner pencil would you recommend for the inside waterline? MAC seems to fade off, but this look is amazing, beautiful. Thank you. So for the inside waterline, if you want to use a pencil, use a waterproof pencil. So Urban Decay has a 24/7 glide gel type of pencil. LA Girl Cosmetics also has the same kind of thing. It's called the Gel Glide Pencil from LA Girl Cosmetics. It's amazing because it's water resistant and it's super black, so you can just pencil your whole waterline with that. Those are pretty much the only two pencils that I really use for my waterline, but normally it's a gel, or sometimes I'll just use the Noir eyeshadow from Anastasia Beverly Hills with a small brush, and I let the water of my eyes create kind of a liquidy effect. When I apply it, it just stays on really well. But yeah, if your pencils fade, you can also use a black eyeshadow over your pencil or a brown eyeshadow over your pencil, like set the inside of your waterline with it so it stays as dry as possible, so it doesn't just melt off throughout the day. Dr. Saba Collin is asking, according to you, what's better, liquid lipstick or lipstick? And I have a lot of both. For me, the whole liquid lipstick craze is happening right now, and so a lot of these companies are kind of coming out. The Kylie lip kit just came out today. There's so many liquid lipsticks that are coming out right now. So everyone's riding the wave, and the thing that I like about liquid lipsticks is not the trendy value of it. Like, I'm not a really trendy type of person. You see me wearing just normal, like, I'm a very, very simple person. And I like simple products that are easy to use. Now, the liquid lipsticks, to me, is not a fad, is not a trend. To me, it is something that makes life so much easier. Because it is a liquid applicator, you can go and create very sharp, beautiful lines with it. With a traditional lipstick, you can't really make those sharp lines, so you have to rely on a lip liner to create those sharp lines for you, and then fill the middle with a traditional lipstick. With liquid lipstick, you don't even need a lip liner. You can actually create those sharp lines using a lip brush or the applicator that it comes in, depending on how thick it is or whatever. But yeah, I really like liquid lipsticks these days. It's just easier for me to use. But when I want that extra hydration, that's the thing. Liquid lipsticks are very drying. So when I want that extra hydration, I really go in for a creamy, nice lipstick. And the lipsticks that I really like, if I want to stay matte but still comfortable, Soleha Beauty that I was just talking about, you can use my code on solehabeauty.com, DYF15. You can get any of those lipsticks. They're so beautiful, by the way. Oh my God. When you see the packaging of it, I just, like, my heart skips a beat. I love it so much. It's like a diamond cut gold. It's crazy. But anyway, every single one of their colors, I own it, and I love to use them. I like their darks and their nudes mainly. And yeah, those are more of a velvety matte texture, so it's very creamy when you apply it, but it is a matte finish, so it's not super shiny if you're not into the shine. And if you are into the shine, I like Tom Ford lipsticks, the non-matte ones. Even the matte ones are pretty creamy, but the Tom Fords feel like butter on the lips. It's very, very, very hydrating. Yeah, that's pretty much the two favorite brands that I have for lipsticks. Yeah, so let's answer some more questions here. 15 more minutes. Okay, a lot of people are asking this question, and that is, how do you fix your eyeliner if you make a mistake with the gel liner? Something that's really hard to remove, hard to fix. How do you fix it? So my hands-on students, the ones that come to me personally, I love it when they make mistakes, because then I can show them really how to clean it. It's very hard to explain it to you in words. I would have to really show you, but I'll try my best to explain it in words, so those of you who kind of understand will get it. I do not use any makeup remover when I'm cleaning up eyeliner. I don't use any at all. If I really must use it, if it's a real mess, then what I do is, instead of using makeup remover wipe, I dip a very sharp Q-tip in my makeup remover wipe. Not a real liquid makeup remover, but just in the wipe, so it gets a little saturated. And then I use the edge, the really sharp edge of a Q-tip, the sharp ones, to just clean up the edges of that liner. And then I use a little concealer with a very sharp brush just to clean up those edges. And that's how I do it. I don't really use a full-on wipe or a bigger Q-tip. I use very sharp Q-tips to clean up, and it makes my life so much easier that way, so I don't have to redo layers of makeup, and I don't have to, like, freak out about anything. Another thing that you can do is, let's say, like, I have matte on right now. Everything is matte, so there's no shine on my eyes at all. So in my case, it may or may not work, but if you're using like a shiny gold eyeshadow, for example, like a very, very metallic eyeshadow, if you use a metallic on your lid and you mess up on your gel eyeliner on your lid, you can actually go in with a sharp brush, the same kind of concealer brush like this, and go in with your gold shiny eyeshadow, and it grabs right over the black, so it's like you never even made that mistake. So let's say if I had like a mark of black, here, I'll show you on my hand right now. So for example, if I'm trying to sharpen the edge of my black, like let's say I've made all this weird smudge and I want to make it really, really sharp, I can go in with a really shiny, kind of a goldish eyeshadow and just etch it out, like really etch it out on the edges, whatever, and it really grabs on to create a really sharp edge on the black. Like even if I put it right over the black, do you see how it kind of hides the black a little bit? So you could actually use it to remove any black marks on your eyes. See, it's like as if there was no black eyeliner there. So a really, really metallic full coverage powder eyeshadow will help you clean up those edges simply by using a really tiny brush and going in and just cleaning up the edges with the eyeshadow instead of having to use a Q-tip with makeup remover or anything like that. So there's ways to cheat. So you can totally cheat your way through and it's like nothing ever happened. Also, if you're working on a client and something happens, don't react. Like, don't be like, oh, oh, like they will freak out more than you. So don't react, just take a breath and do the tricks that I just told you and life will be okay. Ekta the cat is asking, do you use a setting spray? Nope, I do not use a setting spray. But if I do have a client that's super, super sweaty or oily or just tells me that makeup never lasts on her ever, sometimes I just don't want to take a chance. And there's this product from Cinema Secrets, which is like a mattifying spray. And it's just a matte finishing spray. And so sometimes I'll use that before I even put on the makeup just to control their oil, and then after everything is done just to make sure no oil comes through. And that's usually during very, very summer months, but I usually don't even like to use any spray because I don't want to dilute anything. I don't want to mess up any of the finishes that I've created. I'm happy the way I leave my clients. Like, I don't want anything happening to their face or anything changing throughout the day, so I don't really like to use a spray at all. But again, like I said, the Cinema Secrets mattifying spray or any of the mattifying sprays out there, I know NYX makes a really good one too. NYX Cosmetics has a great mattifying spray, which works really similarly. And you can totally use that if you have a client or you yourself already know that makeup doesn't last on you, then you can go ahead and use that just to control a little bit more of that oil. I'm going to go towards the beginning here just to see some other questions. A lot of questions about concealers and dark circles. Some of my regular members already know the answer to this, and that is using an orange concealer to remove the darkness on your under eyes or any pigmentation around your mouth or anything, and then using your regular powders or foundations over it just to remove that orange. So the orange is what's going to neutralize the pigmented areas of your skin or under eye circles. My favorites would be MAC, and honestly, there's so many out there. They're all really similar. You just have to find a good color. But yeah, any of the orange tones work really, really well. I'm currently using the MAC ones, but I've been dying to use Magic Cosmetics, I've accepted them as a sponsor for my Dubai Finale Masterclass. And I cannot wait to use it because I've heard such amazing things about it. It's a new company and they have already gotten so many amazing reviews on Magic Cosmetics. So I'm gonna give that a shot. It's on my page if you guys want to see. I posted them as my sponsor for Dubai, so you guys can check it out and see what it looks like. But I'm excited to try that. Let's see what else. Slee.makeup is asking, what's the best foundation for big pores? Wow, there are so many foundations out there. I just typically just use the same foundation that I always use, which would be like Kevyn Aucoin or the MAC Studio Fix and things like that. It's the primer that I make sure is really thickly applied for large pores. So my favorite primers for pores would be like the Benefit POREfessional is amazing. Benefit POREfessional, it can be used as a primer on certain zones that have larger pores, or you could just use it all over your face, but I'm very stingy with it. I just use it where there's larger pores and it fills it up so that when you put on your makeup over it, it looks smoother. Or any silicone-based primer works pretty much a very similar way, but the Benefit POREfessional is actually made for large pores, so definitely give that a try. And let's see. Some of you are asking about hooded and deep set eyes and folded eyes and things. I have hooded eyes, you just saw, and what I do is, like I said, I look down and I see where my socket is of my eyeball. Like I feel my eyeball and that's the socket right there. That's where I do my cut crease and my crease blending. I ignore the folds. So if you're working on someone that has hooded eyes, go ahead and do it that way. For deep set eyes, same thing. You don't want to go really in inside the socket. You want to kind of go a little bit above. So draw a little bit above and really blend it out. Don't use too many deep colors and dark colors on deep set eyes. You want to keep it medium and light. So no super, super dark colors there. I will absolutely do more hair tutorials. I know I'm getting a lot of requests for that. I love doing hair. As you guys know, I do hair and makeup all the time. And I will definitely teach more hair tutorials as well. For those of you asking about like how I got started, I have a whole class that I taught about that. I also taught about marketing and developing your businesses and all that really, really important stuff. If you just go to the All Access Pass, now that you guys are members, if you go to the members area and go down to All Access Pass, it'll show you the different options you have. If you are not already an All Access Pass member, if you are already an All Access Pass member, we have a sale right now. You can go ahead and check that out on the 1 year All Access Pass, which is originally just a 6-month All Access Pass. So that's going to be extended only until tonight, so you guys can take advantage of that. But what I'm saying is, if you go into the All Access, you will unlock every single class I've ever done. So for the past over 1 year that I've been doing these online classes through this online makeup school, you will unlock every class. So you can go in and choose which class you feel like watching for the day, and you watch it and you don't miss anything. So definitely, if you are All Access, go ahead and watch my marketing class and go ahead and watch how I became a famous makeup artist class. Those 2 classes will really help you figure out what are some easier ways for you to get started in the business and to grow as fast as possible. I have 4 minutes left. Let's see. So Jazeera_makeup is asking, why did you change the way you contour your nose? Just want to know your reasoning. As an artist, and I'm sure you too and all of us out there, as artists, we're constantly evolving our techniques and growing as human beings and as artists. So I never really stick to the same old techniques all the time, although the basic stuff I always stick to, yes. But the details of it, I tend to evolve. Just trial and error and seeing, you know, oh, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. There's no one right way and one wrong way to contour your nose. It truly depends on what look you're going for. Just like my eyebrows, I don't always do my eyebrows the same exact way. There's always little changes here and there. Sometimes they're straighter, like right now. Sometimes they're rounder, sometimes whatever. So it's just your mood. And past few times that I've been doing my contouring, I haven't really been doing too much contouring and highlighting, only because I don't want to make my face look more harsh. I really want a softer look. So for my nose, instead of, and one of the reasons why I do this L-shaped thing is because I realized my nose started to look really long in a lot of photographs. So to make it look shorter again, I started this L thing and I cut it right down here, and it tends to make my nose look less long. So lately I've been adopting that style just so that this bottom hanging tip doesn't look like it's hanging anymore. So it's just a preference thing. I like to change it up once in a while. Moni8AA is asking, after a few hours of makeup when my face starts to shine, is it correct to set with more Studio Fix powder? You absolutely can, but just be very careful that you're not resetting over your contour and highlight. You don't want to ruin any of that. So normally what I do is if I get really shiny, I go in with a smaller brush. I'll show you right now what I do. I go in with a smaller brush. This is the Motives foundation brush. And I dip into my, Studio Fix powder or Estee Lauder powder. And I just go boop, 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 right on the areas that just got really, really shiny. On the side of my nose, I flip the brush to sideways, go around here, and that's it. That way I'm not disrupting anything else. Maybe if my forehead got a little shiny, I could just press some powder into there, but I don't dip into a lot of powder. I just use it very minimally and just do it on the areas that got shiny, wherever you need, and then all of a sudden you look fresh again and everything's looking amazing. And that's basically how it is. Basically, that's what it is. So that concludes my Q&A for now. Just know that I do these classes literally all the time. Like every week or 10 days, I have another class. I teach 3 to 4 times a month, normally 4 times, sometimes even more if I am able to do an extra special sometime. And I do Q&As all the time. I love to interact with you guys, so I encourage you guys to follow my Snapchat as well in case you are not on my Snapchat. It's a great way for us to communicate and for me to give you messages when I'm not able to give you all the messages on my Instagram and your emails and stuff. I'm able to communicate quicker and better via Snapchat. So, you know, just to keep up with my day-to-day updates and things like that, follow my Snapchat. I also do some makeovers on Snapchat too. Of course, they're never going to be as in-depth as here. I actually don't really explain much during my makeovers on Snap because I'm actually doing real customers. So I don't have 3 hours to do somebody's makeup. It's a 45-minute appointment or a 1-hour appointment. So you kind of can get the gist, and it'll, for those of you who are, you know, obviously staying as my members, when you see my Snapchat, you know what I'm doing because you've already learned it on my classes. But for outsiders who are not my members, when they're seeing my Snapchat, they have an idea, but it's absolutely like apples and oranges. My Snap is one level, and this online class is like 1,000,000 times higher level, so much more in depth and really interactive. So again, follow my Snapchat. My username is DYF-TAMANNA. Again, it's DYF-TAMANNA. And that is my username. That's how you can find me. And just follow me there and you'll get all my updates every day, and we'll be cool like that. Again, if you're posting any screenshots from today's class, please let me know what you loved about this class and what you request for the future classes. I love to hear your requests. So make sure when you post about it on your Instagram page, make sure your Instagram is not private, because if it's private, I won't be able to see it. But if you're public, hashtag DressYourFaceLive, DYFL, and DYFL Army. That's who you are now. You're part of the army. So hashtag those hashtags so I can go in and make sure that I'm responding to your requests, and I can see that you're happy with your classes, and any, you know, suggestions and requests that you have, I can actually listen to them and get them uploaded as soon as possible with any changes you want. So, you know, I'm here for you, and I'm so happy you guys are a part of my army. Thank you so much for trusting me and taking these classes. Believe me, it is so fun for me, just like it's fun for you guys to learn. It is so much fun for me to teach you guys, and it is truly an honor that you guys have trusted me with this, you know, position of being your guru, and I absolutely love it, and I'm here for you always. So anyway, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you soon for the next class. Always check the homepage for class updates and times and schedules and things like that. But again, as you know, if you miss it, it's not a big deal. We record them and we upload them anyway, and you guys can watch them as many times as you want at that point. So life is grand, life is good, and I'll see you soon, okay? Love you guys. Bye.